Hey everyone, welcome back to the Valencia Career Mode. It's Season 1, Episode 7, and I'm finally back, guys. My apologies for not uploading for 3 weeks, but I couldn't put a smile on my face. I couldn't bring myself to come upstairs to do any recording because it's just been so tough for me. I lost my very dear friend. He's passed away, and then I had to put my mom to the hospital a few days ago, and it's just been impossible for me. Having said that, life does move on, right? So we're going to get this channel moving, and we are going to wrap up both Valencia Season 1 and Everton Season 2 by the end of next week, guys. 4 episodes this week, 5 next week, and then we'll take it from there. Diving into this episode, first of all, we had a board visit, and they told us to make sure that we do the board objectives. In terms of the youth department, we have to sign one of each position, and obviously we're going to do this. I'm just waiting for the scouting reports to come in. I wait till the very end before signing anyone. Obviously, they don't know that, so they're continuously sending emails. We'll get the goal done, no problem. Now, in terms of the games we're going to be playing this episode, we're starting the new year. We have the transfer window, so that's going to be exciting. We're starting off with Espanyol, then we got Real Madrid and Sevilla, and that's what we'll end off this episode. And we're in a decent position in the league table, I feel like, for a developing team like ours. 27 points after 18 games, 8th position is fine, as long as we improve till the end of the season. And hopefully we will do that. We have a good game against Espanyol. This is a very good opponent for us to start the new year, guys. They set up in a balanced system, so they're going to retain their shape and wait to counter, which makes sense because they have fast build-up and forward runs. Their width is set at 60. And that's going to be interesting because there might be a little bit more spaces in between the players to exploit. And they also don't actually play that deep. So I feel like this is the perfect opponent for us to play. However, they do genuinely pose a threat, especially going forward. They got their striker getting in behind, and he's actually a very quality striker. They don't really commit too much in terms of bombing fullbacks, but they've got that asymmetrical setup where one of the wingers cuts inside, one of is free roaming. So there's going to be a little bit more difficulty in picking up these players, especially from that right-hand side where he's free roaming. All the central midfielders are set on support, not defensive, not attacking. They're all set on support. So I'm interested to see how this plays out because I've never actually played with all 3 midfielders set on support. I feel like it's going to leave them a little bit exposed at the back because no one's dedicated to defense, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, they have genuine quality. Araldo Thomas, especially, 84 finishing, shot power is off the charts. He's a quality striker. He's going to be getting in behind, and he can really pose threats. He's going to be continuously asking questions. And then the likes of Illaramendi, they have the ability to play balls with that vision from midfield. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do on the counter. But for the most part, I feel like we can dominate this team. The major difference in setup is going to be the absence of Guedes. I made a choice that I'm going to sell him. He's probably going to get sold anyways. His overall is so high that a good team is going to come in. We need to think for the future, and honestly, I'm not impressed with him. He's not doing what I need him to do from that left-hand side. I don't know, he's a little bit awkward to use, personally. So we're going to go without him. Blanco's going to play Musa on the right-hand side, and we're going to see if we can't get a good result here to start the new year against Espanyol. For the first 5, maybe 10 minutes, Espanyol were the better side, and they got the first opportunity of the game. It was saved by Silason, great save, but after that, we were totally dominant. It wasn't even a contest. We were so on our game, it's ridiculous. The possession was the most I've seen this entire series. The positioning was excellent. The passing was crisp. One-touch football. Musa gets on the end of it here in the 16th minute, and he puts it in the back of the net, guys. What a goal. That was so beautiful and just so exactly what I'm looking for from my players. And we just continued to pummel them. It wasn't even a contest in the first half especially. We were all over them. The positioning, again, was great, and the finishing to pair. Musa gets it, slides it into the back of the net. It's 2-0, guys. What a goal from Musa, and what a start to this game. It was just more dominance from us in the second half, guys, and I have to say, Musa was possessed. He played out of his skin. Best performance of the season. Wiedemann, clever pass. One touch from Musa, he volleys it, and what was that? That would have been beautiful. And we continued to stifle Espanyol. Every time they wanted to counter, we recycled play. Musa was on his bike all the time, run them ragged. This was a really good chance, just wide, but every part of this tactic was working, clicking. It was just beautiful to watch. Soler runs into space, surges into the box off of a Vega pass, and it's 3-0, guys. That is what I'm talking about. Everything was working for us. Everything was clicking, firing on all cylinders, and that is when you can really see this tactic shine. And when I mean every part, every single minute detail of this was working. Overlapping fullbacks, cutbacks, people getting into position. That should have been a better shot from Vega. But look at this, 80th minute. We're winning 3-0 and he's running after the ball. We regained possession. It was beautiful. It was perfect. And again, no room for Espanyol, cutting everything out and countering, building up our attacks, switches of play. It was everything. And clever passes, crisp passes. Look at this. Vega gets it and he puts it in the back. And the guy's 4-0. This is exactly what you want to see. It was near perfect. Near perfect. The amount of possession we were keeping was just ridiculous. It was just so good, and this could have been 7-0, and it should have certainly been 5-0, especially with Musa's form, but he just couldn't put it in. But this was the most complete performance in terms of how we want to play in the 3-4-3 Cruyff Diamond I've seen this season. And what a way to start the year. What a way to start. I can't wait to see if we can translate this into the Real Madrid game. Guys, you look at the stats, and that's when you realize how one-sided this game was. Espanyol did nothing, and we had 67% possession, which is probably the highest in the season. 5.2 expected goals. It should have been even more than that, honestly. And the possession heat maps say it all, because what is it, like 75%, maybe more possession in their half, probably most of it in the final third. The spells of possession, I mean, look at this. The second half, 70, 80%. That is ridiculous. They have a black hole in the middle of their possession heat map. They didn't have any of the ball there. A little bit on the wing, but they really didn't create anything. And you look at where we won the ball. Okay, you maybe say, okay, maybe you'd like to put it a little bit higher up the field. But this horizontal line at halfway line means they were trying to move it fast vertically, and we were cutting it out at that half line and just recycling play going again. It was dominant from us. We had so much chance creation. We pummeled them from every sector of the field. It was just beautiful. It was complete or near complete performance. Vega and Musa were definitely the standouts. Vega, for his positioning, his link up from that false nine role was just excellent. He was popping up in a little bit of spaces, and you can see how well and how interestingly he was laying it off here. A lot of passes side to side for on-running midfielders, for wingers like Musa coming in. 3 expected assists. He actually got 2 of them. Great performance from him. And Musa was possessed, like I said. I mean, the guy just terrorized them on that right-hand side. He netted himself 2 goals. It could have been even more. He was dribbling past people with pace on his bike, and he was cutting in, getting into positions, and he should have probably scored, like I said, maybe a goal, maybe 2 more. And it was just so beautiful to see. And his passes were tidy. The thing with Musa was always, can he be a good enough passer to stay in the side? And this game he was. He was complete, and he deserved his 8.4 rating. This, in general, was, like I said, the best game of the series so far, in terms of tactics at least. All right, so now let's go and look at what happened in the transfer window. So first of all, before it even started, we sold the Rivero, our 4th goalkeeper, and we got a little bit from that, 2.3 allocated from the board. Every little bit helps. And then we got an offer for Vallejo, 15 from Palace. You know what? That is a fair price. Vallejo isn't that good. His weak point is passing, and I figured, let's do this. We got 12.5 million, and we can reinvest this into something that fits our system a little bit more. Vallejo isn't bad, but I feel like we can do better. We had a short-term loan offer for Musa. You know what? After that game especially, we are not getting rid of Musa for this season. He's going to be pivotal for us and going forward as well. Then Guedes came into the office and he's like, all right, I've heard some rumors that I might be moving on. Give me another chance. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever I answered him, it doesn't matter because I put him up on the transfer list. That's it for Guedes. I have nothing against the guy, and maybe he's a really good player. Maybe people use him to good effect, but I don't feel comfortable using him. He's not doing that good on that left-hand side. And honestly, even if I didn't put him up on the transfer list, I feel like he would have been sold anyways. So to make it realistic, you know what? I'm not satisfied with him, and we need funds to get other players in, so I put him up on sale. It's simple as that. There were a lot of suggestions in the comment section previously about players that I could sign, and we went through them. Velasco is a player that they're not willing to part, so we'll keep in mind for the future, but I couldn't get him. I also couldn't get Solid. Same deal with him. He's just too important. They didn't want to let him go. However, I was scouting Marcos Antonio from Shakhtar, and I was really excited about this player because he has all the attributes and the passing to be a good winger, but he's one of those players who starts off as a CM, so I feel like I can make a very profitable change of position here and have a nice player on my hands. But as I was scouting him, there was a team that came in and offered 13 million for him. I was scrambling, and I managed to finally scout him fully and get in an offer of 13 million as well. And then we negotiated a contract, guys, and that is our first signing. Marcos Antonio from Shakhtar, 21-year-old Brazilian, a little bit of flair. He's got good pace. He's got good attack positioning. He's very agile, and from what I was reading in the comments, very nice to use, and he's got the passing. I'm very excited for this guy. I want to increase his weak foot, but other than that, I want him to be interchangeably played on the left wing and on the right wing. For now, I'm training him to be a left winger. But that is our first signing, and here's the realistic transfer calculation at the bottom. Comfortably, we were able to get him without offering him extra wages. And then my second signing was a pretty controversial one. I wanted to get in a really quality player, another winger. I wanted to strengthen with two wingers. I said this before, and I wanted to go in for Amin Guri, who's a striker, so he can play striker, but he can also play off the wing. And he's more of a clinical player, clinical finisher, and I wanted that in my locker. And I offered money, but they came back and said, okay, money plus Racic. And I'm like, you know what? At first I thought, no way. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, you know what? He's a little bit slow, and we need maybe faster guys long-term at the back. And he's Serbian. We're already over the limit with getting Marcos Antonio in. He's a Brazilian, and we can only have 5 in the squad, 3 in the matchday squad. So we already have Mamardashvili, we have Nandez, we have Vega, and that would be Racic and Marcos Antonio. That would make 5, and I wouldn't be able to use all of them. So I figured, okay, you know what? Maybe this isn't the worst thing. And I decided painfully to accept this. And 20 million plus Racic, we get Guri. And honestly, I'm really excited for this guy. I'm gutted to lose Racic a little bit, but like I said, I feel like it was the right decision. But this guy will be a peach of a player. Again, the weak foot needs improvement, but you've got just excellent stats in terms of finishing, in terms of in and around the box. He's got the crossing, he's got the passing, he's got a little bit of pace on him. I feel like in the long term, he'll be a peach of a player for us. We got him from Nice just barely in the realistic transfer calculation, but you know what? Just over the line is fair enough for me. So that's our second signing. And then we had a third signing. Guys, you remember we needed a CB, right? Well, I found one who fit the profile. Boskagli from PSV, guys. Again, 20 million, maybe a little bit hefty on the price tag, but he's got the passing. He's got a little bit more speed. Maybe not as good as Paulista, but it's hard to replace a really quality player like that. I'm going to increase the defensive work rate. He's got 4 weak foot. He's got the potential to be exactly what I need. He's also left-footed. So if we do play a formation with 2 CBs at some point, the 4-3-3 Cruyff, then we'll be able to use that. Now, I'm setting him at stopper to increase his defensive awareness, to further increase his speed, and to get his physical stats up. I feel like we need that guy who can sweep, because we were getting beat a lot on sort of balls over the top, through balls, so we really needed to address that. Those are our 3 signing guys. Here's the realistic transfer calculation for him. Again, it was semi-comfortable from PSV. They have international competitions. We don't, but we were able to get him. And yeah, hopefully these 3 signings will be just exactly what we need to move forward. And honestly, I'm thinking we won't sign too many more players here. We're going to focus on youth heavily, with Salinas coming through the youth department, with other players. So that wraps up the transfer window, and now we're going to take all these players and throw them into the deep water in an away game against Real Madrid. So if you have a good memory, you'll remember they play a high line, and not particularly aggressive pressing, but they won't let you play out from the back, and offensively slow build up possession. However, you've got those individual player instructions for Vinicius Jr. running in behind, so that throws a different dynamic, and you've got that right winger free roaming. He can also pop into different spaces. It's all going to be vacated by Benzema playing that false nine, Isco, Modric running in behind. So all these things will be present. Bombing fullbacks, it's a possession system. They need numbers. They need to overload certain areas. So we all know that. And obviously you have to watch out for the likes of Cruyff and Modric dictating things in the midfield. It's extremely difficult to keep possession when you've got such good passers and they don't actually lose possession. However, we're going to try something different here, and we're going to stick to our identity, but we're going to throw a curveball and play the 4-3-3 false 9 Cruyff system. It's an alternate system that I described in the first episode. There's a full explanation there, but I'll go over it here. The principles stay the same. You're still pressing after possession loss. You're still, defending compactly, so 25 in terms of width, attacking with 100 width. So, spreading it out, making sure that there's a lot of space, stretching the pitch, and then depth at 100, so you're still keeping that high line and you're still keeping the identity of slow build-up possession. So a lot of it is the same, and if you look at the specifics of the player instructions, again, a lot of it is the same. You've still got that false 9. You've still got the wingers who are free roaming and popping into different positions. Where it gets different is your central midfielders. So you've got both Soler and Veerman now surging in behind into that vacated space. You've got underlapping fullbacks, not overlapping. They're still bombing forward, but they're actually cutting in on the inside of the wingers. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. I haven't played this system at all, ever, and certainly not in this series. I think it's a risk worth taking because what this affords us is an extra defender at the back, and that'll be helpful in countering their high line. It's going to help with the running in behind. There won't be as many spaces. Hopefully this will work out that way because we did lose late against Real Madrid and we did have a number of problems with this. And hopefully I'll be able to create enough chances in the system, even though it's unfamiliar, to create Real Madrid some problems. I'm thinking this curveball will work. The players stay largely the same. The CBs are going to be Boscagli, the guy I bought on the left, and Guillaman will drop in on the right. Vas will take up that CDM role since Rakic is no longer at the club. And we'll see how this goes. Let's have it. You can see by this one chance of Real Madrid just how good they are. One touch, scintillating football. Vinicius Jr. is on his bike, he's released, and that's very narrowly offside, or else it would have been a goal. And it doesn't surprise me that Real Madrid for the first 20 minutes were the better side. They're the top team in the league, and they're trying to exploit, obviously. Crosses into the back post. Why am I not surprised? But for the most part, the formation surprised me positively, because there was really a lot of positive things to take, especially the right center mid Veerman surging into the box more and getting into dangerous positions, getting opportunities like this. That lacks in the 3-4-3 Cruyff Diamond because it's asymmetrical. He stays back a little bit more as that advanced playmaker, as that secondary option in the build-up. So that was refreshing to see. Another thing was the spacing was really good. For a formation I haven't played, we created a lot of chances. People were getting into positions that were really clear, and Vega gets on the end of it here. A little bit of luck off deflection, and it's in 1-0, but really encouraging. Not that it's easy to play against Real Madrid with this system, but for a formation I haven't used, for a tactic I haven't used, it was comfortable. And there was a lot of things to note like this. Underlapping runs from fullbacks. They were very clear, and that creates a number of interesting situations. Now, Real Madrid continued attacking. You can see Vinicius was getting in behind, but when we were trying to get it out from the back, you can see an extra CB. There's always that pass. There was a peace of mind that you really don't get from the 3-4-3 Cruyff Diamond. The 3-4-3 Cruyff Diamond takes a little bit more discipline. This is a little bit safer at the back, and I feel like for games like this, that might be the way to go. But we continue to attack here. You can see the spacing, the positioning is good, and again, Veerman gets a good surging run here and gets another decent chance, so that's encouraging. So Real Madrid recouped in the second half and they started to pile on the pressure, which is not surprising, but I do want to note how that extra CB impacted the game because I feel like it was pivotal. So you've got Modric trying to make that run into the middle, and maybe if there's one CB, he makes a more compelling run. Instead, Benzema takes a shot, Silas makes a save. Again, here you've got a situation where if this CB isn't there, maybe we don't make this pass. Maybe there isn't that pass option, we don't get it out. Maybe Real Madrid ties it up. But instead, we are able to play out from the back. We're able to get into their final third and create a chance of our own. So I feel like it's pivotal. Now we have a really good chance here, a nice back heel, a crisp pass sliding into De Ketelaere, and he puts it in, guys, 2-0. And what a finish. De Ketelaere is huge for us. He pops up in these big games and gets big goals. But after that, we gave up initiative a little bit, and Real Madrid started to dominate play a little bit more. And a lot of shots were from distance. Silas had to make good saves, but nothing too crazy. But you could really start to feel the pressure, and they love those penetrating passes. This time it worked. Valverde gets on the end of a Benzema pass, and it's 2-1, guys, and you can feel the nervousness start to creep in. We lost that game late on at home against Real Madrid, and they had another great chance here. It's a cutback, and Silasen makes a save. What a save from Silasen. That was the last second of the game. We win it against Real Madrid away, guys. This is our first win against a big opponent using a curved ball 4-3-3 tactic. Great to see, and this is progress from our team. We did the job against a big boy. So perhaps you can make the argument that Real Madrid deserved more from this game, especially in that last minute. But it's a tie game, and I actually thought it was an even performance from both sides. One expected goal I thought is a little bit undeserving for us. I thought we had more chances than that. But overall, if you look at even the heat map, we had good spells of possession. 72 against Real Madrid at any point in the game is really good. If you look at our loss of possession, sure, there's some work that needs to be done there. We lost a little bit too much for my liking. So there is things to improve, but overall, I thought it was pretty even. If you look at chance creation, both sides created a fair amount of chances, and honestly, away against Real Madrid, I will take that, and I will certainly take the win. Our next game here is against Sevilla, and we have an interesting chance to complete our second goal for brand exposure. If we get a tie or a win, that'll put us up to 7 without a defeat in home matches, so we should definitely go for it. It's going to be tough because Sevilla is one of, if not the best possession team I've played in this series. But we're playing at home, and I'm going to go with the 3-4-3 again. Now, they do press on heavy touch, and that was a little bit cumbersome at times for us to play against. And they're, like I said, possession is second to none. They play high, and they play wide, and they stretch the ball, and they do it well. They play silky football. They've got that target man anchoring everything. And then you've got Ocampos specifically off that right-hand side cutting. And it almost sometimes feels like he plays as a secondary striker. And it causes us a lot of problems. Gomez getting forward from that central midfield position is also a menace for us. And they've obviously got those overlapping fullbacks to complement the possession system here. Creating overloads, getting crosses, and getting cutbacks. They're a really good team, and you definitely have to watch out for Ocampos. He torched us in terms of crosses into the back post because he has a little bit of size, so definitely need to watch out for that. And the agility of Gomez and his technical ability coming from that CM position was also very difficult for us to deal with. So definitely, if we can keep an eye out on that, it would be good. Like I said, I'm going to go with the 3-4-3. I'm not doing the 4-3-3 against Sevilla. We're at home, and I actually thought we had a lot of joy the first time playing this formation. We had a lot of chances, and I'm going to try to do one better here and beat them. We kept decent possession for the first 15 minutes, and honestly, we had good passing, but unfortunately Sevilla's defense was on point, and they had a number of block shots we really couldn't get through. And slowly after that, they started to take initiative and keep possession more, really threaten, and those far crosses to Ocampos to the back post were really menacing. A few of them, Silasen had to make a save, and I knew they were going to do that because they did it in the first game, and they did it again. But for the most part, the bread and butter for them was these short passes, nice intricate chances, nothing 100%, but again, Gudelj, a decent chance there. They could have easily had a goal, and we were a little bit sloppy, but what I liked is our determination to get the ball back. We really pressed them, we got it back, and we created a very good opportunity here. Musa gets it on the wing. We criticized this passing in the past, but he puts in a ball for Guiri, who gets his first goal at the club, And what a finish that is. Already has more goals than Guedes almost. So, yeah, we continued to attack, and Musa was on point this game. Again, he's making a case to be a starter. Nice little bit of skill move, gets his pace in behind, squares it for Soler, who hasn't scored in a while, and it's 2-0, guys. A great chance, a great individual effort for Musa to create that goal. I thought in the second half we were the better team, slightly, because there were chances on both sides, but I thought tactically we were better. Honestly, this is quickly becoming my favorite game, Sevilla versus Valencia, because there's so much that's happening in these games. And Musa gets a good chance here, it's saved, but there was chances on both sides. We lacked a little bit of discipline at some point, we lost of concentration. When building out from the back, we cheaply give it away here, and they're going to capitalize on this, right? And Nisiri gets it, powers it past Silasen, and it's 2-1. And that's unfortunate because you really need to make sure you don't make mistakes like this because it's easy goals, right? We don't put our head down though, and we continue pressing. The thing that I liked most is how well we regain the ball. Once there, then we play it around. We lose it again. Sevilla tries to counter, but it's an interception. And this was constant, and we were really good at this in this game. We lose it again here, but look how quickly we pressure the ball. We make them, force them to get an error. We regain the ball, recycle it. Vega gets on the end of it. This is still the same play. He gets into the box and he chips it. A beautiful goal from our little Mexican. And it's 3-1, guys. And that's a really big booster to score a goal like that. But obviously, Sevilla's not going to lie down and take it because they're really skilled. They have players who can make the difference. Suso gets it here and he makes a lovely moves. Vas is just played for a full and Gudelj gets it. Silasen can't keep it out. It's 3-2. And there was that little bit of a nervy finish. But we continued to attack, and off this corner, we played it short, we got into the box, and we got taken out. So it's a penalty, and I'm thinking, okay, this is perfect. Let's close out the game. Let's kill it. Soler steps up, and he's a good penalty taker. But what a save from the goalie. Nothing changes till the end of the game, but that could have been a pivotal moment. Still, we get the win, a second win against a big opponent. What an episode this has been, the Espanyol game, the Real Madrid, and now the Sevilla win. That is just massive. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me, for waiting until this video drops. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time, guys. Laters!